Susanne Knabe-Nicol, the police science doctor, and this is the second part of the three-part conversation that we're having together. Susanne, thank you very much for the earlier conversation that we've had. I'm going now to ask us to focus on your current work with Middlesex University. So can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, so I started, I'm in my third year now of teaching. I teach and I run the program BA Criminology with Policing and Investigations, and I teach policing, law enforcement, investigations, and investigative psychology to the criminology students. And so Middlesex University is in North London, and I was completely new to that job when I started, so it was a very steep learning curve, and any other academic will tell me that you get very little guidance when you start a job like that, so everybody just gets thrown into the deep end. And it's a completely different way of working. I love the flexibility of it, and it really completely depends on the students, though, how enjoyable the sessions are. And it's quite interesting to see, the mindsets and the level of knowledge that people have when they come in, and to see the different levels of personal characteristics and strength and work ethics that students have. And it's a completely different job to what I've done before. All of a sudden I couldn't believe that I'm just allowed to go into a classroom and start talking, and nobody checks if what I'm saying is actually acceptable or not since before. So that was a little bit scary at first.
I suppose the trust comes from your considerable prior experience, and highly unlikely that you're going to go off the rails when you have that wealth of previous experience. But tell us something about the students that come into that you come into contact with. Are they mature students? Are they in their teenage? Are they teenagers? How would you describe the students that you see?
They're mainly in their early 20s, undergraduate students having done their A-levels. I teach second and third year and master's students. There are a few more mature students who have had children, sometimes young grandchildren, and they sort of want to switch to something, and have had a long interest in something related to criminology and come in. So it's mainly quite young people, and it's a different generation to when I was at university. So I sometimes struggle with that a little bit, the work ethic, but they have very different pressures than we perhaps have as well. Cost of living crisis. I started during COVID as well. There were different challenges on them. And there are some that really stand out with how hardworking they are, and they're the ones that are a lot more rewarding to teach, I think. And I reward back. I'm sometimes able to try and get them work placements with really good organizations, but I'll only give those to people that I'm comfortable putting my name behind. Somebody that I know is going to work really hard on their new job. So it's a mix, really, but it's great. I mean, something I lived in London for the first 9 years I was in England, and what I loved is that it's just so cosmopolitan, and you get people from everywhere, and you get that at Middlesex as well.
And
I really like that.
What are they studying for? Is it with an intention to stay in academia, or are they looking to go into policing, or are they looking to go into some other field?
So it's a mix, really. I would say maybe a third of them are looking to become a detective, actually. So they're doing a degree, and then they want to do a direct or a graduate access to detective training program. Some want to do something in law, and they're thinking of switching to a law degree. Some want to work. Quite a few want to work with youth, which is great because we need more people doing that. Some are not quite sure. And some are fortunate enough to already have some kind of work experience that they're doing, even just on a voluntary basis with some charity or organization, which I would always recommend. Try and get some exposure to work, even if you're not getting paid for it. If you possibly can work in some kind of supporting capacity for a charity, I think that will definitely benefit your outlook, and you will get the experience that will look great on your CV, and that will help you deal with situations in the future. So it's a mix, and I've got people from the police coming in to talk to them. I'm hopefully having someone come in soon, actually, from the Strategic Insight Unit at the Metropolitan Police, talking about potential career pathways with them. And there's a lot of different things that they could do. They just need to make up their mind at some point and try and get relevant work experience in, and then do really well at what they're trying to achieve.
Two related questions in one here. So the two questions are this. First of all, for those who are considering doing this type of academic education, would you encourage them or discourage them? That's question one. And for those that are on courses, your own course and courses similar to that, how can they go about getting the most from that course that will stand them in good stead later on in their career? So, two-part question. Over to you to pick up on one or hopefully both of those.
I would definitely encourage studying, because it's now more and more people study, I guess, so you will stand out perhaps if you haven't done it, but also it gives you different perspectives of things you wouldn't get exposed to otherwise. What you learn at university and the different modules they've got just covers criminology from so many different perspectives: society, youth, victimology, and policing. And I think that is definitely worth it, because people come in, and they told me that when they interviewed me for the role, that some people may have had experiences with the police, potentially negative. They may be opinionated on things. So I see it as a really good challenge to show things to them from the other side. And do you actually know what it's like to try and make decisions, to be exposed to hostile people over and over again, and you're still trying to be friendly? So I think that I would definitely recommend that. Remind me of the second question. I didn't want to answer
those
that.
Those on the course, how do they go about getting the most from the course that will stand them in good stead in their future life?
Yeah, absolutely. The way to get the most from a course like that and from my courses is to do preparatory reading for every module, which I ask them to do. Come into every lesson, and which seems to be a challenge nowadays, which is very unfortunate, very frustrating for me. And then in the lesson, so my lessons are very interactive. I don't talk at them, because that's not how I would want to be taught. I teach the way I would want to be taught. I say stuff, I ask them questions, I get their opinions, I get their feedback, I get them to do research, and we discuss. So I really engage, ask questions, answer questions, think, and you can tell whether people are thinking, and I can tell that those are going to be the better students. And those that have shown me the good work ethic by turning up and engaging, those are the ones that I will then recommend if I know of an opportunity that would be really good for them.
So if your students are putting in their best effort, you're going to make the best effort for them?